What up, everyone? Welcome to Darkness Descends with the JK47 Paranormal. It's my first show. I'm excited and I'm happy to be on Legit's podcast. I can't thank you enough for King Mike bringing me on. And it's going to be a great show. The first show that I want to do is I want to introduce myself to all the people that are with Legit and just kind of get into everything. And there's my wife. Hello, Desiree. Hello, love. And we just want to get to know me first. But, going forward, I'm going to help with investigation tips. We're going to look at some live investigations as they're going on, because it's Friday night, it's late, especially on the East Coast. So a lot of the East Coast investigations have been going on. I was watching one before. They were doing some great stuff. But this is just to get to know me. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the comments there. I'm really excited to be here. And I want to shout out, to our sponsors, Legit Tumblers. They keep the cold drinks cold. They keep the hot drinks hot. So make sure that you check out Legit Tumblers, and also highharvest.net. They're a great place out in the east there that gets you taken care of. So shout out to the sponsors there. And then, of course, legitpodcast.com. They have the website and they have the Facebook pages, YouTube. Check them out, like and follow, and let's get started. I am the JK47 Paranormal. If you don't know me, my name's Jonathan Keyworth, hence the JK. The /47 is because I was in the military. I was part of the initial invasion in Iraq. We were like one of the first ones into Fallujah. And we were right smack dab there in the Sunni Triangle. So the 47 comes from the AK-47, hence JK-47. I like to, keep my military heritage up. But that was a big turning point in my life. You can actually see the whole story on Discovery Plus. If you go to a show called Mission Unexplained, I'm on episode number 3. I'm right in the middle. And it tells about my paranormal experiences that I had in Iraq. Not to mention, what I know now as my spirit guides, that they were there helping me. My first paranormal experience that I ever had was when I was 18. There's a place called Riverdale Road up in Thornton, Colorado. That's where I live. I'm in Colorado, if you can't tell by the hat. What you do is, it's a golf course now, but in the parking lot at this golf course, if you park your car, get out of your car, go up to the northwest corner of the parking lot, and you stand in that corner. It's crazy as shit. I want to go back there, and maybe I'll do it once live on this show. You'll stand there, and you just got to be quiet and stand there, and all of a sudden in the gravel you'll hear you'll hear him run right past you, and you'll get the chills, and the hair will go up on your arms. And once he passes you, it starts all over again. It goes, and it scared the bejesus out of me. I was only 18 when I experienced that, and I was so terrified. I ran to my car, and I said, "You guys better get in the car, because we're getting the heck out of here." And I swear, as I was driving, I could feel that ghost running behind me. Like, it was scary, but yeah, after that point, I really started thinking about things. I'm like, what was that? Well, how can noises happen with nothing around? They were all standing still. And and I was standing still, and to hear the gravel footprints. But the story is that back in the 80s, the guy was out jogging and he got hit by a car because the roads are really narrow there and there's a lot of sharp turns and stuff. Guy got hit by a car and died on the side of the road. I think it was a hit and run, and that's might be why his spirits are still there. But yeah, there's Mike Adkins. Hey, buddy, legit tumblers in the house. And there's Sin. Hi, Sin. Let's see. And coming up on my next book in spring from Signs and Beyond. Yes, yes. And legit tumblers. What's up? All right. So we caught up on the comments there. Didn't lose my place. Sharpen the head. But yeah, so it got me thinking about that experience, and ever since that point, I'm 47 now, so that was what, 29 years ago. I just started thinking, how can that happen? How can that happen? I couldn't grasp it. So I started watching, you know, Taps, with Jason Hawes. I started really looking into the paranormal, and when I was 21 or 24, I was doing really bad in life, and I was almost homeless, and I joined the army. Yeah, so I joined the army, and the recruiter was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, he had this video going of Rangers jumping out of planes with parachutes and stuff, blowing crap up. I was like, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I want to do that." And so I did. I went to basic training, got my advanced infantryman's degree in basic, and then went to airborne school. Jumped out of the plane 5 times, certified airborne, and then I went to the Ranger introductory program, and I couldn't make it, man. My body just wasn't developed, and I just wasn't strong enough. My hat's off to those guys in the SEAL teams, Green Berets, all you special force guys. Hats off to you, man. Wouldn't be where we're at with a lot of you. So they sent me to Fort Hood, where I became a gunner on a Bradley, and I was the best gunner in the battalion. You know, Hitting 10 T's, 10 targets. That's how you qualify, and they see if you're up to the task and stuff. There's Scott Leisure. Hey, buddy. What's up, Scotty? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, so I did that, and then 9/11 happened. And we were all suited up, ready to go on a moment's notice. And Afghanistan, 82nd Airborne went in there with the Rangers, Special Forces. Met some of those guys that were part of Operation Anaconda. In fact, one of our guys that transferred to our company was part of that, and Kenny Pascal, if you're watching. And yeah, it was a mess, man. It was a mess over there. And then we got our orders to go to Iraq, and 30 days before we deployed, we had to become experts on either the 50 cal or the Mark 19, because our Bradleys were too wide to fit down the alleyways in Fallujah and stuff. To help the ground troops clear these buildings. So we had to become experts. We had 30 days to do it. And I was a Mark 19 gunner. I was really good. If you guys don't know what a Mark 19 is, it's an automatic grenade launcher. And each can of the ammo, oh, there's Faye. Hi, Faye. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I promise I won't stay up too late tonight with the show. So, yeah, it holds 75 rounds, and each one of these rounds is about the size of a soda can. And it's a 40 millimeter grenade, and when you fire it, it has damage destruction perimeter of about 40 meters. So you could fire 75 of them in less than a minute, just holding the button down. It goes boom, boom, boom. If you guys ever played that ball game at the arcades, like where you push the buttons and those black balls go shooting out at the targets, that's exactly what it sounds like. Boom, boom, boom. Except the rounds have the capability, if you put it at a perfect 45-degree angle, it will go 3,000 meters. So that's what I was a gunner on. And all my rest of my buddies were on 50 cows. And if you watch that show I was telling you about that I was on, it explains a lot more as to what I went through over there. I highly suggest you watch it. It's Mission Unexplained. It's on Discovery Plus on the app, or the Science Channel. Episode 3, and I'm in the middle there. But yeah, Spirit was with me, and when I got home from Iraq, that was the hardest time for me, because I lost 4 friends, and in fact, this month, on the 8th is when we lost our platoon sergeant. He had shrapnel in his knee from RPG. His name was Sergeant First Class Hicks, Gregory Hicks. He was like a dad to us, and he always looked out for us. And he was on his medical chopper on his way to Berlin to get surgery done on his knees, and the insurgents shut down his chopper. And then on the 24th coming up, car bomb killed 3 of my buddies. So they were in our platoon as well. And we were actually rendered the most inoperable platoon since the Vietnam War at that point, because it was really the first engagements. And, that really stuck with me. And I went through a lot, started crawling down a dark hole, drinking and doing the drugs and stuff. But, when I got back, that's when I met my wife, and kind of drew out of it. And I thank her for that. She was kind of my anchor, always very supportive. And yeah, so then I started thinking, what was that stuff that was happening over in Iraq? And I started watching Ghost Adventures, because Ghost Adventures was really big back then. And started watching the ghost shows again. I was always interested in it. And I wasn't able to actually start investigating and stuff until 2020. That's when I got 100% from the military for disability. So I wasn't able to work anymore. So it gave me a lot of free time. So I was able to start investigating. And my first investigation, I want to say, was in July 2020. Let me add it to the stage here real quick. Yeah. So if you go to my YouTube page, this is my YouTube page, and these are the oldest. I want to say, 3 years ago. So yeah, just about July 2020. But before that, I started doing more research. I wanted to take a more psychological point of view of it. And that's where I started doing more research. All these religions are using salt, and they're putting it by the windows in the 4 corners of the room, putting it in front of doorways to keep, evil stuff out. And I started thinking, I was like, well, what does salt do? What is salt? So sodium, basically, it de-energizes anything. So if you think about it, if we drink salt water, it's going to harden our kidneys and kill us. If you give salt water to a plant, it's going to kill a plant. So I was like, okay. So I made salt water mix, and I would put it in a spray bottle. And I'd go to these haunted locations, and I wasn't sure how long it would take. I would, use all my equipment that I had. And my first case is this one right here, this Michigan investigation. And person I was helping, what she was experiencing was she would hear voices in her house. She was actually pushed down on the ground. So poltergeist activity interacting with the living. She was in her bedroom closet one day, and her husband hunts. So all the antlers are up on the top part of the closet. And she was in there just hanging up some clothes, and all the antlers came down at her, and she could have died. I mean, the points on those antlers were pretty sharp. So, that was one of the first places I looked. And so this was my very first investigation. And I was so terrified, you guys. Like, I can't even. I was like, what am I doing? I'm like, I felt like I was going back to war, but except I'm fighting something that I can't see. And so I got to her home, and I remember when we pulled up in the driveway from the airport, I got my bag out of the trunk, and I looked at the house, and I looked in the windows, and I could just feel something watching me. Like it was so weird. Like I just felt it. I was like, okay. And she showed me which room I was staying in. I was staying in the guest room there next to her son's room. And once I walked into the room, it just all I could smell was like rotting meat. Like it was really bad. And I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to be rude. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I'm here. And I believed in myself. I believed, nothing's gonna hurt me. Nothing's gonna do anything. So I was more than happy, to stay in that room. And literally being there less than a half an hour. So I went live. I do all my stuff live. If I go on an investigation and stuff's happening, I'll go live immediately, because I want you guys to see what I see, and to prove that I'm not forging these videos, that everything I do, I try to do live as much as possible. And I went live on my phone, and half an hour, like this light anomaly came out of the closet, went along the closet, like I don't know, what is it, molding, and you could see it, and it's just moving independently. There was the heat wasn't on, the AC wasn't on, there's no fan in the room. So and it goes around this corner, and it goes through the wall, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm ready. And then I got through that night okay, minus the smell. I did the first round of spraying around the house, and the smell started to go away. So I was like, okay, cool. So maybe this is working. And the second night, oh my gosh, it was like 10 o'clock, 10, 11. And I'm just kind of walking around the house doing K2 readings. And I was going back to my room to put my K2 away, and get some cat balls and set them up. I was getting ready to go live, and um, I walked, like, there's a hallway, so there's a door off to the left, and I come to find out later that her mom, Sharon, was in that room, and that's where she passed. And I walked by that room, and I looked to my left, and I kid you not, you guys, it was nothing but like this white mist with it was like sparkling. And I saw a woman with her arms crossed looking out the window, and I looked, and I was like, oh hell no. And I went to the right, I went into my room, and I just kind of gathered myself. I was like, oh holy crap, did I just see what I just saw? I that was the first apparition that I ever saw. Like, and I could tell the difference between where she was standing, the window. There was not that much light coming through the window because they have a forest in their backyard. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I kind of paused, just catch my breath, and I went around and did the second spray, went live, did some cat ball stuff. A couple of cat balls went off, and that next morning, I was like, well, I saw this, and this in that room. And that's when she told me, yeah, that's the room that my mom passed in. And I was like, well, I think your mom is here with us, and she's helping us. And I went back during the day. I put that cat ball in the middle of the room, and I asked her, I said, Sharon, was that you that I saw last night? And that cat ball just kept lighting up. It went off for like a full 15 minutes. It didn't stop. And usually the cat balls will stop at about 45 seconds. If you guys don't know what a cat ball is, uh, this is a cat ball. So you got to push this button to start it up. And then, anything that touches it will make it light up. It's a mercury based trigger. So when you're for investigations, you want to make sure you set it down and it's not going off. Give it a few minutes because all the mercury has to settle before it can be activated. But whenever you touch it, it's supposed to go off. Yeah, like that. So it takes a lot of force to set these off, but it was going off for a good 15 minutes, and it was pretty intense. And if you look at the picture here, so I basically sprayed this entity or whatever it was into my room, and in my room there was this doll. Whoops, what am I doing? Go up, down, up, down. So right here, this is the Michigan investigation with the picture of this doll, and you can see how the eyes are blank. So this was a doll given to her, and it's porcelain. So the eyes, I thought they were pushed in by something or by moving it, and when we shook it, there was no movement inside. The eyes are gone, and if they came out, it would have broke the porcelain, I think. So I felt this energy in the doll, so I sprayed the doll, and the smell went away. The smell was gone. So I must have trapped it in this doll. So what I was like, man, we got to get rid of this doll. So we put it in a garbage bag. We sprayed the garbage bag, put another garbage bag over it, sprayed that garbage bag, put it in a box, sprayed the box. So this thing was trapped in that doll, and it's a pretty creepy doll. And yeah, that was my first investigation. And the husband got rid of the doll, and yeah, I stay in contact with them, um, and they've had some residual activity, but nothing as intense as what was happening. But I always make myself available, to help my past clients. And then after that, I went to Washington State, um, and they lived in the woods again with some stuff going on. But she also had the ashes of her loved ones, 3 loved ones in the house as well. And that's what I think is that our loved ones are trapped on this plane, and they're just trying to get our attention. Legit tumblers, what'd you say? He said, I don't have dolls because of that reason. No, I don't blame you, man. This doll was creepy. Like, the eyes were just gone. I was like, what the hell is that? I've been sleeping with that. Yeah. Yeah. There were so many nights. Like, I was just kind of eyeballing that closet once I saw that doll in there. And she couldn't explain it. She couldn't explain why the eyes were gone because they were there. Oh, hey, there's Rick. Hey, Rick. What's up, brother? Thanks, brother. And she couldn't explain because, like, before I got there, like, she had seen the eyes in the doll, and all of a sudden the eyes were gone. So it was really weird. So, and that's the closet where that doll was that the orb came out the first half hour I was there, the light anomaly, I should say. But as I was saying, from there I went to Washington State. You guys can go to this channel, JK47 Paranormal on YouTube, and you can watch these investigations. They're a little long. I learned to shorten them, and then from there I went to. Oh, hey Roger, thanks for watching, brother. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Lots to talk about. And from there I went to Virginia, and I actually had one of my army buddies pick me up at the airport uh, in what is it, North Carolina? Yeah, North Carolina, South Carolina. And he drove me to Virginia and dropped me off. And I was like, "You don't want to stay for the investigation?" He's like, "Oh, hell no." So, but Virginia investigation was pretty cool. He lived up on the third floor in an apartment. Um, Craziest thing that happened there, uh, while I was sleeping on his couch, and I was just about to fall asleep. I felt my pillow get tugged. I looked behind me, and like it was a hard tug, and I was like, "Oh hell no!" But yeah, I think it was his friend, because he had a memento. But I helped Greg out. He's a good guy. I like Greg. Then I went to California. Talk about from coast to coast. California was fun. Um, I went live, and I had a cat ball sitting on the middle of a stuffed animal so that none of the vibrations from the table or anything around it would set it off. It was a lot harder to set off with it on the stuffed animal. And she put her uncle's ashes. She had a little vial of her uncle's ashes in this wood thing, and it was next to it. And once I went live, I said, "Are there any spirits here?" It went off, and it would go off on command as I was asking these questions. I was like, "Wow!" And she had some poltergeist activity in her place too. The cool thing about that California investigation is where she lived. There used to be a graveyard where she lived, and the graveyard was, right across the highway or the road there. But I don't know if they got all the graves or whatnot, because I want to say her sister or her sister-in-law lived a couple roads down, and she was experiencing stuff too. So, um, but that was a fun case. I liked going there. And then on the last night, they took me to the old Los Angeles Zoo, and we did some investigating there. That was fun. And then that's when I first met AJ. After that, uh, he's the co-host, well, the host. I'm the co-host of Talking with the Source. That was the first time I met him. Was 3 years ago. And then from there, I went to the Arizona investigation. That one was fun. It's in the middle of the desert, right off the highway. The land that they had, it was really a weird place. But this one building that they had, it was an ostrich farm, and or they used to make ostrich meat there. The guy before them used to kill the ostriches and stuff, and then he died. And if you guys watch that one, um, I do this spirit session. I use the Necrophonics app, and it was like 12 in the afternoon, and it was all bricks, so there was like not really too many windows that came in there, and and I got really great responses, and the cat balls would go off when the responses were right, and yeah, so I helped them out. They had a little boy. That was my main concern, was protecting the child. And that I hate snakes, you guys. I really hate snakes, and I was so terrified of rattlesnakes in that desert, like, because I had to spray this other building, and I knew there were snakes in there, and I was just waiting for that rattle, and I was gonna throw everything and leave. But that's when I started using my GoPro. I have another hat that I have that I can screw my GoPro on. So I wear that so you guys could see me spraying, and that's a good video too. And then I went back to Michigan for another investigation, And that was the first time I encountered multiple spirits. When I was out there was when Trump was debating Biden, and and I remember I was in the other room. I was like, "Who's going to win the election this year?" And it said Trump, and Biden ended up winning. But uh, so I don't know. They said he should have won, so I don't know. Whatever. It's just politics. But yeah, there was 10 spirits in that house, and I was glad to help them out, and I still keep in contact with her. Oh, this next one is the one in Tennessee. So this was in October, 3 years ago, and this client had called me, or sent me messages showing me some videos and pictures. They had some severe poltergeist activity. There was there was one night where she was sitting on the couch, and the husband's chair was off to the right of the couch, and he was sitting in his recliner. They were watching TV, and she was grabbed by her ponytail. Oh, yes, in Tennessee. She was grabbed by her ponytail and pulled over the couch and dragged down the hall. And I I mean, the fear that I could feel from her. And at this point, I'm starting to learn more. Okay, and I'm starting to feel spirit. I'm starting to develop these abilities, and working with AJ, because I just met AJ too. I talked to him a lot. Like, I was like, "Oh, so what did you do on investigations? How can I make this stronger?" And he's like, "Dude, you're doing the right things. You're believing in yourself." And I was like, this isn't an evil entity, and it ended up being her mom. Um, she come through the Necrophonics app, and her and her sister, who hadn't been talking, her sister was there, and I was doing a session, and I was like, "What do you want to say to your mom?" And she said, "Well, I love you, mom." And sure as crap, it came through the necrophonic saying, "I love you." And then her sister said, "I love you too, mom." And then it said, "I love you." And I'd never heard that through the necrophonics before that case, and the fact that it happened back to back, right next to each other, is kind of interesting. Um, but yeah, so that was an interesting case, and I love those people. I still stay in touch with them. And then I come back home because it was Christmas time, and I'm like, finally, I get a break, and uh, I get a message from um, a person in my hometown here in Strasbourg. And I was like, all right, I can help you out. It's like a 5-minute drive. And I went to her house, and it ended up being her mom. She had a Ouija board in her closet that the planchette was still on, and she didn't know how to use it properly. So the biggest thing is, when you open a session, you got to make sure you close it. You got to say goodbye, or I close this portal. You got to make sure you close it, or else that energy is going to stay there. But her mom had passed when she was little. Let's see, Sin said, pull her out of the room, like, yeah, just like that. Like, grabbed her hair, pulled her over the couch and down the hall. And the husband saw everything. He was sitting right there. He's like, "What the fuck?" And yeah, sorry for the language, but it's late night. Your kids should be in bed anyway. So, but yeah, I was helping her out, and she was saying she found a pile of knives under her bed that were in the kitchen. And I was like, okay, so I don't know what that means, but yeah, I'll help you out. And that one was pretty good too. That's when I started learning about frequency, and I started doing a lot with messing with the frequencies. I bought a God, what did I buy? I bought a battery or a device that's used on high-speed drones. It gives off like 5,000 hertz of energy, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna hook this up. Let's see what happens. And I got a lot of cat balls going off, far away from it too, and they were going off anywhere I placed it in the house. So the spirit was following me, helped move her on, and I guess she's doing all right. I haven't heard from her. And then I went in Colorado again to Loveland. I went to Loveland, helped them out. It was a mom and her kid, and they were experiencing some stuff in their house. That was after Christmas. Then I did a 1 year anniversary video, and then we come to Wichita Falls, Texas. So Wichita Falls, this is my case that if I ever start feeling doubtful about myself and doubtful about my abilities, this was the case that I knew I was doing something to help people. This was the case that I knew I was doing something to help people and spirit. The little girl there you see on the clip to the right in the pink, she was 16, and a month before I got there, her mom was murdered in the house, and she saw everything. And she reached out to me. She said, I really need help. I there's all this stuff going on. She would hear voices through the radio. Doors were opening and closing. She got touched on her back in the shower, like something grabbed her back, and I really felt bad for her and her family. And so I got there and I stayed in the house. The first night I stayed there, I had never felt anything that intense. I don't know, because of the way that her mom passed or whatnot, but I could not stay in that house. I had to get a hotel. I even called my buddy AJ. I called him at like 3 a.m. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry to wake you up, but there are black things moving all across this house. I can't stay here. What do I do? And he's like, dude, just like the medium that we were working with, she said, just build that bubble around yourself. Imagine a bubble of energy around yourself, and you're going to be okay. I'm like, I'm trying, man, but I can't do it. Something was seriously not wanting me there. The cats that were in the house, they were coming up on the bed, curling up to me, for protection. And I'm like, So I stayed outside the house till about 6 a.m. And then I went and got breakfast and then got a hotel room for that day. And then that second night, oh my gosh, you guys, the stuff I got on that second night was crazy. I said, this is when I started using crossover on my spirit box. This was the very first episode that I started getting clearer voices because of that crossover, and that's what I use to this day. Is I have that crossover hooked up to my spirit box. And I said, Kathy, if you're here, can you show us? Can you set off those balls? And she said, I'll try, Jonathan. And she set off the one on the ground first, and then the one up in the closet. And I'm live on my Facebook, and I got the whole family sitting behind me. So I have 7 witnesses behind me that all this stuff is happening. And if you guys want to see a crossover, so a crossover is here. I'll just bring it up here. So this is a tiny 2-way crossover. It's the XX21. But if you guys look at the controls here, I don't know if you can see them that well. But what I can control is the inputs volume. I can adjust to a frequency. So I can decide what frequency I want to focus on. And then there's a low level volume and a high level volume. So basically, what it does is I can tune into a certain frequency and control the volume of it. So that's why it's like a mixer, but a mixer will or an equalizer or mixer will add volume and take away volume, but this controls the frequency, so I can set it on a certain frequency. Like right now I have it at about 444, and that's what I meditate to every morning is 444 frequency. So I believe that's why I'm able to help out on all these cold cases and stuff, is because I'm so in tune on that frequency. That's what frequency, hey Chris, that's what frequency spirit knows they can reach me at. um, Underneath it, I have an equalizer. I've tried that, but it doesn't help any. It kind of cuts into it, so I just don't use it anymore. I just use my crossover. But yeah, if you guys watch that, you'll hear it. I got that clip on my TikTok too. So if you guys are on TikTok, it's pinned at the top. It's the one with the black room, and you'll see the light bulb, the cat balls lit up, and click on that video. That's that instance. But I was able to help that family on the third night. um, I let it going, and I brought her in, Kathy, into the room, and I said, Kathy, are you with me? And she said, yes. I said, your family members are here for you. They want to pass on some messages. So that's what they did. All of them went in and said their goodbyes. They were coming out with tears because they could hear her voice coming through. Then the next case I went on was in Vermillion, Kansas. It's a farm property. It was the same thing with the Ouija board. Guy was working in his garage and his tools caught on fire, and it was crazy. And then we went, me and AJ went to the old Montana State Prison in Montana. There was just the two of us. If you guys want to hunt like these big locations, I would suggest, instead of going to these ghost hunting groups, talk to the location, see if you can book it see if you can book it straight from them, because then they're getting the money and there's not as much profit. So at the old Montana State Prison, for $600 you can have up to 10 people. And most of these places, like there used to be Ghost Hunts USA, they would charge each person like $250 to $300. So that's how they were making the money. But if you have the faith in yourself and your hunting capability, or not, paranormal investigation capabilities, you can call the location and be like, yeah, I'd like to come investigate your place. How much is it? And they'll tell you right up front, if you have 10 people, it's this much. And I said, well, do you have a price less than that if there's only two of us? And they'll work with you, because they know it's money for them to help rebuild these places, keep them going, and that's what they're about. So but that was fun. There was only two of us in that big prison, and that was a fun investigation. Then I went to Aurora, here in Colorado. That is also on my clipped on my TikToks. That was a really cool case. That was in an apartment. Something was in there. And then I went to Utah to the Woods Cross haunting. I wanted to help a family that I saw on Paranormal Caught on Camera, and he's really cool. His name's James, and I got a hold of him, and we started talking. It was almost a year since I'd been talking to him, and his family went, his wife and his kids went to see some grandparents. So it was just him there. He's like, yeah, come on down. Now's the time. If you go on Paranormal Caught on Camera, I can't remember the episode. If you watch this video, I'll tell you what episode it was. But he got some crazy stuff, and while I was there, I stayed in the room where this black shadow peeked its head out the door, and we got some cool stuff. The cat balls went off a few times, but that was a great investigation. And And this is where I started getting into the cold cases. So right when Gabby Petito went missing, I did a session, and it said that she had passed and that she was in Wyoming. That's where they found her body. And I did the session. I was like, "Well, where's Brian at? Where's Brian Laundry at?" And she said Northport, and that's where they found him, was in Northport, Florida. So that's where I started learning. Okay, so I got to get more in tune with myself. I got to start building my psyche up, so because spirit was starting, you can see my path. The spirit started coming through more and more. Then I went to Thornton. So while I was on this investigation, I had done 2 nights there, and then that's when my brother passed, and I didn't get a chance to do the 3rd night until I got back. So it was pretty emotional for me. And then this was the better evidence review for Gabby Petito. Then I did a Denver haunting. She had a little apartment right across from the highway. Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate that, brother. But yeah, my brother was the world to me, and it was really tough. But I learned that I could talk to him. So if you watch this Halloween episode here, this Happy Halloween session, that's the first time I talked to my brother while on camera, and I have this gun lighter that I got in Iraq. It looks like a gun, but it's a lighter. And I was dressed up as John Wick, and I said, "Hey, brother, what do I have in my hand?" And he said, "Holster that gun." So if you watch that one, that's an amazing one. I got some good responses out of that. Going on, yeah, this is where I just started working from home. Yeah, I just started doing sessions, trying to reach celebrities and talk to my brother. And this is really where I started learning that spirit will come to you. That this is your universe. You want to talk to spirit, you have that ability. So you don't have to go to these haunted locations. I mean, you can talk to anybody. I did a session right there for Ed and Lorraine Warren. I reached out to Janis Joplin, Hans Holzer. I did one for James Gandolfini. Oh, that's where I got the Super Bowl prediction for Cooper Cup. And I said, Spirit, who's going to win the Super Bowl? And they said, Coop. And I was like, Coop. And I knew he played on the Rams, and I was like, no shit. And I promised him I wouldn't bet on it, but I showed everybody, and he was the actual player that won the game. He caught the winning touchdown. So if I bet on Cooper Cup and the Rams winning, I would be very rich right now. And then there's the Holy Cross Abbey that I go to, and this is when I started working on my cold cases. I started with John Benet Ramsey. Um, she said that the guy did it right there in that Santa suit. And then I started doing Suzanne Morphew's sessions. And guys, I on this 3rd or 4th session with Suzanne Morphew, this weird light came down, and I had never got that before on any of my sessions. It was like right above me, and it was like this light. You guys should watch those episodes. And then Chadwick Boseman, he's my brother from another mother. We have the exact same birth date to the year. So, I talk to him every year and see how he's doing. Just kind of coincidence that we had that. So I always like to share that. And then there's the Jameson. You guys have seen those. Then I started doing the best clips, and then Jason Landry is who I'm working on now. So yeah, guys, I've done a lot, and I've grown to where I'm at. So for these future episodes, what I'll probably be doing is maybe trying to find some teams that are live streaming, and I'll kind of narrate what they're doing and analyze and kind of give pointers. But it's going to give them a shout out. Plus, you guys can see live what I would have done different, or get some ideas from them as to what they did. So anybody out there that goes investigating is on Friday nights. If you go live, just give me a shout out, and I'll pull you up, and we can annihilate. God dang it, analyze what you're doing, and maybe give you guys some pointers. Or we could watch some of investigations. If you guys want to know the best way, to enter a building, or if you want to know how to help out grounding, this is what descending into the darkness is. So, people consider what we do, I don't know, I guess darkness. You don't have to consider it that, but I consider it love and light. Everything that I do for the right reasons, and that's what I tell everybody. It's all about intention. So if you intend to help the spirit, they're going to help you get to where you can help them, and that's what I do every week. And my abilities are growing more and more. I'm an empath. I can feel where spirit is. I'm like a human lie detector. I can tell when people are full of crap. I can tell all that stuff. Chris, oh, thanks, man. JK is an amazing man. He helped me so much. It's not just spirit, personally as well. Yeah, dude. It's just your guides. I can hear them and feel them as to where you might not be as in tune. I know you were going through some stuff, but you got to realize they're always with you. They're always going to be there to help you. And if anybody just needs to talk, just hit me up. That's what I do. I just help those that no one else will listen to, and no one listens to spirit. So I think that's why I get such amazing stuff on my spirit box. And maybe we'll do some live sessions on the episode. This is all for you guys. I want to help you develop your skills. I want you to be in the knowledge of, if I go to this location, what do you suggest I do? Or, hey, I'm having some weird stuff happen in my house. What do you suggest? And I have a question for spirit. What's your question, Chris? What's your question for spirit? Type faster. So glad we checked in with you tonight. Love what you do. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be on what is it? Shout it out. The coffee mug show at 9:30. I'll have it on my Facebook, and it's on Latino Psychic Visions with Roger Garza, and it will be early in the morning. 9:30 my time, 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. Are the Broncos cutting Russ? I think they have too much invested. Oh, thanks, legit tumblers. I'll be here every week. Yeah, thank you, man. I got to get one of your tumblers. I want to get the JK47 emblem on it, and then I'll promote it that way. Put my beers in there. This mug's for you show. Yes. So type that in the YouTube. You can see me there tomorrow morning. Me, Faye, and Roger are this mug's for you. We're gonna be talking about the cold cases that I've been working on, and yeah, I can't wait. She does a great job, and I love Roger, and I'm glad these guys met me. I met Faye on a live stream I was doing with Lori Potvin, and she heard her brother come through, and she was asking questions, and I was telling her the answers. So check out the show. I'm sure we'll talk about that. Legit tumblers, send it to me. I got you. All right, man. Hit me up on the messenger, and I'll send you the pic. Just go to Jonathan Keyworth in your messenger. You'll see me in there, or you can go on the legit one, and I can send it to you. And let's see, Chris, if I'm awake, I'm there. I know I'll barely be awake, dude. I gotta drink a lot of mugs for me to get awake. But guys, I love you all. This has been a great episode 1. I hope I've explained a lot more about me and on my paranormal journey. And going forward, we're just gonna shoot the shit and talk about all the good stuff that the paranormal can bring everybody, and that if you have that positive intent, you're going to get much more responses on your investigations. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you that there's no real true evil out there. The power of the light inside of you will conquer all. Wife, great show. Thanks, love. And love you, brother. Yeah, see you, brother. Thank you. Sin, great show. JK, thank you. Sin, thank you very much. And then Rick, also great show, my friend. They're on here all the time. So follow the legit podcast.com. Make sure you check out legit tumblers, and then highharvest.net. And I love you all. And have a good night. Chris says he loves the positivity. Yeah, man. If you keep that positive energy around you, it's going to make it a lot harder for that negative stuff to come in. So just don't let people control your universe. You control your universe. This is your universe. You control what you feel. So if somebody's giving you bad vibes, you don't have to let them in. Just say, hey, I appreciate you. And my wife put the link in there. So go ahead, hit that like and follow. There's a lot of great shows on here, guys. So I'm glad to be part of their network. And I love you all. And I hope you all have a good weekend. Stay safe and good night.